Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My second video, like, what? It's really strange to be saying that, but here I am filming my second YouTube video. It's weird. I'm still a bit like, what am I doing? But yeah, my first video was obviously just like a little introduction. This video is a lot deeper than that. So basically, if you can't already tell by the title, this video is about my acne journey, and I am going to call it a journey because honestly it's probably one of the biggest things of my life, which to some people might sound quite trivial, but you'll kind of understand more the more I explain. So yeah, this kind of entire video is basically about my acne journey and the treatments that I went through, and how it actually affected me, not just physically but mentally as well, because I think a lot of people don't really think about that aspect of it when it's actually pretty big. So I'm going to go back to the very start, whenever it all kind of started for me. So went to secondary school whenever I was 11 years old, just kind of the same as anyone else. I didn't wear makeup, nothing like that. And then probably towards the end of first year, the start of second year, that's whenever I started to get spots. But I wouldn't really call it acne then, because it was just like small, like random spots all over my face, which everyone seemed to have. So back then was okay. Whenever I got towards the end of second year, more going into third year, that's whenever my skin really started to go downhill. This is whenever I started spending a lot of money on products to try and get rid of my spots. One at the time I probably didn't know was acne. It was acne. I just kind of thought of it as spots, and I feel like probably I didn't have the knowledge then to know that it was actually acne and that it was more serious than just having a few spots. I honestly don't know how much money over the years I've probably spent on like cleansers, spot treatments, face masks, exfoliators. I feel like I'm not even over exaggerating when I say I've probably tried every brand under the sun. Like I probably feel like I have, and I have spent so much money on it. My mom has spent so much money on it over the years, and just nothing seemed to work for me. So third year I started wearing makeup. I felt then that I was really self-conscious, so I constantly needed to cover up. The absolute fear that literally took over my entire body whenever I was in school, and they used to like bring out the makeup wipes in assembly and make you take your makeup off. Like, I'm not actually over exaggerating whenever I say I felt humiliated because I didn't want anyone to see my skin, and I just wanted to keep it hidden. And I know everyone could see the bumps and the lumps, but I just didn't want anyone to see the redness as well. And this genuine fear used to take over my body whenever they brought the makeup out, and I used to kind of make up every excuse under the sun, refuse to take my makeup off. And if I heard like one of these days was coming up, I used to be terrified at the thought of going to school on those days. Like, it just, thinking back, like, it was just crazy. And I don't know if they still do that in schools today. If they do, like, they really shouldn't. So yeah, I started wearing makeup, and that probably didn't help things, because I've realised now that my skin is really sensitive to makeup and certain skincare products. So obviously back then I was just wearing a lot of like random makeup that I just bought in like Tesco's or Asda, and I was just using like complete random mix of skincare products. It wasn't like I was using set products, I was just trying everything. And I now know that that's not good for your skin either, and that kind of adds to my issue and makes it actually worse for me. So this basically continued on for like right up through school, and it just actually got like worse and worse and worse, and I just covered it up and covered it up and covered it up. And I don't think, like, I realised in my head that you can go and see your GP about this. Like, it didn't occur to me like it's an actual issue that like you can go and get help with, until I was like in university, which is crazy. Like, whenever I started getting the spots was like when I was like 12, and I didn't go to uni until I was 18. So like, that's a long time. And I think it took like something inside my head for me to realise that, like, right, nothing is working here. Like, the only thing I can actually do now is go to my doctor and actually like get help for this, because nothing I can buy over the counter's working, nothing a change in my diet's working, just nothing at all was working. And it was actually horrible. So I went to the doctor's probably when I was about 19, 20, and they started like all the standard stuff they do. So the first thing they gave me was a cream, like a treatment gel, which done nothing, but they wanted me to use it for some crazy amount of time, like 6 months. So that was 6 months where it didn't do anything for my skin, and it actually got worse. Actually to the point that it actually wasn't just my face, it was my chest, my back as well. I felt like I couldn't wear like certain clothes because I didn't want people to see like my chest or my back either. Like it was just horrible, to be honest. So they gave me the gel cream thing, it didn't work. Then they gave me a course of antibiotics, which seemed to kind of work at the start a tiny bit, and then took a complete U-turn and made it way worse again. Like just way worse. To the point that like my whole face, all here was just like big red lumps, and like not even spots, but like under the skin, really like cystic like lumps. It was horrible, and because of the way they were, I just knew, I was like, this isn't like this is not how I should have like this. There's something that can fix this. So the antibiotics, I kind of went and said, I just can't take these anymore, they're just making it so much worse. This is the point where I actually think I realised like not just how sore physically it was hurting my face, but actually mentally as well. For me, it actually got to the point that it wasn't just physically anymore, like it was hurting my face, yeah, and I was in a lot of pain, but it gets to the point that you're actually embarrassed to like actually leave the house, because in my head everyone was looking at my skin, and now I know that that wasn't the case, but back then that's all I thought in my head, was that if I left the house and like you could see all the lumps in my face, that people would be staring at them and would be thinking like, oh, she doesn't wash her face, or like she's dirty, whenever actually it was completely the opposite case. And it was at that point, like I was 20 years old, 21 years old actually, yeah, 21, and I realised that like I shouldn't be feeling like that. Like it shouldn't be the point where my acne is making me not want to go and do things, and making me not want to go to places and be in certain situations because of my own skin. Like not feeling comfortable in your own skin is the most horrible feeling I've ever experienced in my whole entire life. And like I said, to people who have never had bad skin, it might seem like the most trivial thing in the world, like, oh, but it's just spots, but it's not. It's just so much worse, and it really can like get into your head and make you think that like you aren't pretty enough, and that why would people ever kind of look at you and things like that, because your skin is so bad. And that's the mentality I got myself into. And it was only then when I went to the doctor and I said, like, this just isn't good enough, like things like I don't want to actually like leave my house some days whenever my skin's really bad, because I don't want people to look at it, that they kind of turn around and were like, right, we'll refer you to like the skincare specialist. And it took that, like it took me, like that was 21, like that was nearly 10 years later before I realised that like I really needed to see like a proper specialist about my skin, because nothing was helping. And it took so long of trying everything else before they would refer me as well. And it actually took me to say like the fact that I didn't like want to leave the house because my skin was so bad, for them to actually refer me, which like you don't really like want to admit, because I kind of thought in my head like, what if he thinks I'm being so stupid? And I even think when I was in the doctors, I was saying to them, but like I know I'm being silly in my head and all this, and but I wasn't being silly, like it was the truth, and it just took me to admit it to actually get the help. They had said that it was going to be like 3 months for the referral, but I actually got it in 4 weeks. And as soon as I went to the dermatologist, she straight away referred me for Roaccutane, which I know people can have very mixed opinions about. And I understand why people can be so mixed about Roaccutane, because it's a really, really strong drug. It's kind of the last course that they will take whenever they're trying to treat acne. They will try everything else first, and now I understand that that was really frustrating for me, but I understand the importance of it, because there are a lot of side effects of Roaccutane that make it so serious, and they really do chat to you about it whenever, you know, they're considering you for treatment, to make sure that, you know, you can, you know, cope with the side effects. And they take so many blood tests. It's a lot, and it's a long process, and for some people it doesn't work. For me personally, it really did work. I went for my referral with the dermatologist in August. Yeah, so August 2017. Yeah, August 2017. So this is now February 2020. And went for my referral, got bloods taken, then a month later started my course of Roaccutane. And I can easily say within about 5-6 weeks of being on Roaccutane, I noticed a difference in my skin. And like, the only way I can describe it, it literally felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, because I had just had it for so long. Like, I genuinely thought like nothing can make this better. And then my skin started to improve. I had less spots, and honest, like, I can't describe it. And compared to some other people, my skin was still crazy bad. But for me, I just, like, I could see it getting better. And my chest and my back were the first to clear up. They cleared up pretty instantly. Like, pretty much went away straight away. My face obviously took longer, but it was just that instant, like, relief whenever it did start to clear, that things are going to get better. Like, I'm not going to be stuck with this forever. Which was something that before that I kind of think, I thought in my head that I am going to be stuck with this forever and I'm not going to be able to get rid of it. And it was just that knowing that, like, this for me at that moment in time was working. So I continued on my Roaccutane. I had a 6-month course, and I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. You get the most horrible dry skin, really sore chapped lips. I sometimes felt quite sick. There's a lot of side effects to do with your mental health. I personally didn't massively experience that side of it, but the physical side effects of it, like, I definitely felt them in their millions. Like, I had never had dry skin before. Like, I'd always had really oily, greasy skin, and I had dry skin. Like, it was just, I just wasn't like aware of what dry skin was like. And I actually had this fear to use moisturizer, because in my head moisturizer like broke my skin out, even though I know now it doesn't. But like, back then I kind of thought, like, I can't put moisturizer on my skin, it's gonna make it more oily and worse. That was not the case. So I only needed 1 course of Roaccutane. It worked really well with my skin, and the dermatologist was happy after kind of like 1 course of it. So following that, they basically, you have like a final appointment 4 weeks after you stop the Roaccutane, where she looks at my skin again. So at the same time of being on the Roaccutane, they'd actually put me on a tablet called Dianet as well, which basically stops the production of androgens, I think, which is what makes your skin like oily, and stops like the sebum producing in your skin as well, which helps them to not clog your pores. So I was on the Dianet and on the Roaccutane at the same time. And then after I finished my course of Roaccutane, they gave me a cream called Adapalene, which I think kind of is a bit similar to Roaccutane, but in a topical cream. And they kind of said, you know, if you have breakouts, you can use this to maintain them. So I did use that at the start, because obviously there was some breakouts coming off, but nothing in comparison to before, like just a few like spots, which I never would have had before. I could have had 30 on my face at once. So they gave me the Adapalene cream, which is like a long-standing prescription. I can get that now for the rest of my life. But about a month after I came off the Roaccutane, they decided to take away the diet as well, and I genuinely got in the car after that doctor's appointment and cried my eyes out because I just knew my skin was just going to go back to the way it was. And I think I got in such a good place with my skin, I just could not see that happening at all. I cried and cried and cried. I started taking the new tablet, which they said would be good for my skin as well. It wasn't at all. It didn't agree with my skin. I know people it did agree with, but it didn't agree with my skin. So I went back to the doctors and I asked to be put back on diet. I know they don't really like people to be on it for too long when treating their skin, because it does have quite a lot of side effects as well, but they kind of looked at my lifestyle and my blood pressure and things like that and decided that I still could be on it. So I was able to get that tablet again because I just know it really works for me. So kind of fast forward to now, my skin, like in comparison to what it was, is just so different. I don't even have photos of my skin at its worst because, to be quite frank, I didn't want to take photos of it. I didn't want people to see, and whenever I did have photos of it, it sounds crazy, but I just put the exposure way up. I literally looked like I didn't even have a nose because I didn't want like people to see the bumps on my skin, so that was the only way that I could do that. And I thought it was like the smartest thing in the world to do, and now looking back I'm kind of like, why did I do that? But I don't even have photos of the worst times on like off my back and my chest. I have photos of some times that were really tough just before I started Roaccutane, but they still, in comparison, like there was times when it was all over my face, which just thinking back is, I just can't imagine that now, because it is so under control now. And don't get me wrong, I do get times whenever it breaks out quite badly, and especially like around my time of the month and things like that, it will break out, which is totally like understandable, but I feel like I can manage it a lot more now because I also have invested a lot of time into the skincare products and the makeup that I use as well. And as much as I needed the Roaccutane and stuff, I don't think I ever could have got here just kind of naturally, but definitely the skincare products and the makeup play a massive part in my skin as well. I can't really use anything that isn't kind of natural product based. I need a lot of natural products and a really simple skincare routine to work for me, because kind of whenever I start to overload my skin, it just massively flares up. So although it is really definitely hormone based and kind of chemically based inside, there's definitely a lot of external factors to like play a part in my skincare as well. So definitely kind of stripping your skincare right back and then figuring out, like introducing products in slowly what works for you, is what I found that worked. I think sometimes people, when they get bad skin, they can kind of go all guns blazing and, you know, cleanser, exfoliator, toner, mask, and sometimes your skin doesn't need that. It needs stripped right back. So I find that's what really worked for me. But I suppose I basically just wanted to share this to everyone because it's so, like, it had such an impact on me. And I feel like back whenever I was probably at some of my lowest times in my life, because of my skin, I don't think I had the like knowledge out there or the place to go to find out like information to find out that like other people feel that way, and that it's not just me who like mentally can be affected by having bad skin as well, that it is going to get better. Like, it's not always going to be like this. And I think for quite a lot of years I just couldn't get out of that rut, and I did think things were just never going to change. But I just want to like show people that it will get better, and that honestly, go and talk to your doctor. They are there, that's what they're there for. They know their stuff and they will be able to help you. Yes, it might take time and it might take a few different things to try first before you find something that works for you, but honestly, like, just know that there are other people out there going through the same thing and that it will get better for you. Also, thank you so much for watching this video. It has been a bit of like a raw one for me to talk about, but it's something that I am so passionate about because I can understand the frustration, the pain that people feel whenever they have bad skin, and I want to be able to show people that it's okay. And honestly, if anyone ever has any questions or anyone ever needs to talk just because they're feeling down, please, please, please do not hesitate to ever message me. You can get me over my Instagram at _I'm Rachel. That's Rachel, Rachel. and I am happy to chat to anyone because I would never want anyone to feel the way that I did.